Do you think someone needs to be in a position of lack for them to have drive?
Not all the time. I feel like it's a big factor, but you don't always have to have something bad happen to you for you to be, to be motivated. You know, there's a lot of people like right now who are professional athletes that are that before this they had a family, they had double storage house, they had cars, they were getting driven to school and everything and so on and so on, and they still made it to the NBA. It's not always a struggle story, but that a struggle story is like a big factor in terms of motivation. But like look at people like AJ DeBanza. AJ DeBanza's had two parents in his life. He's gone to the best schools for basketball. Even though there were scholarships, he's still gotten a lot of stuff, and he still has like support.
So, what do you think it is that makes someone great at what they do?
Having a why, like having a reason. Like I said before, like the struggle story is like that's motivation, that's a reason. Some people just have like so for mine, and I know for yours as well. It's just like I want to be able to like take care of my parents because they've done so much. It's a big why for me. Just take care of the people that have helped me get to this point: coaches, players, friends, family. I want to be able to get to a point where I can like my mom can just text me and say, "Listen, I want to go to Dubai. I'm saying here's the tickets done." Like that's the way I want to get to. I feel like once I can comfortably say that and do all those things, then I know okay, I've done it in life. I'm good now. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. But until then, I can't.
Do you think everyone has a why?
No. The and
Why not?
and just like it's a difficult question to answer because you don't really just like wake up and it's just like, oh, this is my why. You know, some people get it through hardship. Some people just like they're just naturally that way, and some people are just like clueless, and it takes them a while. It's only up until something really bad happens to them that they now figure out they have a why. But by then, the why is too late. It's too late for a why. And then you end up in like a worse situation than you were before. So to me, not I feel like not everyone has a why early enough.
How
You
can
know,
how can someone how can someone find their why earlier?
I'd say just being aware. Most of the time when you don't have a why, you're not aware of what's going on around you. Some people aren't aware that, oh, mom and dad have made sure that you've never gone cold in winter. You've never experienced no food. You've never experienced no electricity, you know? But then for someone like me who's not to say that I struggled crazy, but I'm just like, those there were weeks, there were weekends where the power's gone. Mom and dad aren't home. Mom and dad can't do this. Mom and dad can't do that. And then in your head, after seeing that for so long, in your head, it makes you think, I'm like, why is this happening? Why aren't mom and dad having this and that? Why mom and dad can't do this and this and this? I'm like, you know what? I wish one day I could just help them and make sure that that never happens again.
So, how would you help someone find their why earlier? What should they be looking for if they're looking for their why now? If they're 16, 17, 18, and they feel like they're just pushing through youth and they haven't figured out a reason of why they're still going.
I mean, the biggest thing about it is trying to find. Like I said, it's a difficult question to ask both anyone and yourself. Like I remember before coming to Australia, if you could ask me what my plan was, that after we got our results for high school, if you could have asked me what my plan was, you know what I was gonna tell you? I said, I don't know. I'm probably gonna go UB and see what happens. I didn't know what to do until out of the blue they were like, oh, here's the elite scholarship. And for those that don't know what the elite scholarship is, it's basically a program in Botswana that says if you're a high standing academic, or no, let me just say high standing, like if you got like 42 points and above, in IGCSE, and if you were like a high standing athlete, i.e., being a national team athlete, they could sponsor you to go overseas to study and to play. So once I saw Elite roll through and they said that taking applications, I was like, let me just lodge a application and see what happens. And then one, two, I'm in Australia.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show so far, leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. It genuinely makes more of a difference than you think. Alright, let me not take too much of your time. Let's get back into it. Talk to me about that, because I wanted to get into when you first arrived in Australia. How did it feel? Well, you said that you hadn't gone to Australia without knowing your why yet.
Yeah. So like I said, when I came here, just lost. Like, and by the time I came to Australia, I hadn't been hooping for like a couple of weeks. Like I was doing maybe once or twice a week. I had stopped hooping for maybe a couple of months. I was just on the game and I was doing nothing. You know, and once I got here, and I was like, okay, maybe it is time to take this hooping thing seriously. The first week, obviously, I was still doing like school and stuff, like heavy school. So every day for like 5 days up until 5 p.m. in the morning. So it was grueling. And afterwards, I would try and go into the city and try and find somewhere to play and meet new people, find connections, and so on and so on. And the hardest part about it was there's no help. Like there's no one to guide you. So in that situation, I just had to like get out of my comfort zone. Like if you know me, like properly know me, you know that I don't really like pursue connections like that. I don't really go out to go and talk to people. I don't really like extrovert like that. Even though I am more of an extrovert now, back then I used to just keep to myself. So getting out of my comfort zone and say, okay, I'm going to go and try and meet people, talk to people, ask where can I hoop? Is there teams here? How does it work? This and that and this and that, and just being so annoying to the point like I just even annoying myself, just telling myself I just need to go out. I'm going to find something's going to happen if I just put myself into the world, and something will happen. I'm confident that I'll meet somebody and then I'll form some sort of connection that helps me get somewhere. And lo and behold, after a good like maybe month of doing that or month or two of doing that, I made new friends, um, met new players, found a place to play consistently and get better. And then the first big breakthrough being in Australia was when I went to Park Takeover in Sydney. And then I hooped there. I was put on YouTube and I was put on Instagram and it was just going crazy. I was hooping crazy and everyone was just, from that day I had like on Instagram, I had like 400 followers. After that day, I had 1,000. So I was like, yeah, it was a big jump. It was a big jump. But yeah, I think honestly, the hardest challenge was just getting out of my shell and being just open to forming new connections.
What did it signify to you?
Growth. Because I used to just keep in my inner circle. I still do, but now it's like I can sort of have conversations with other people without having to feel awkward, feel that social anxiety. Before it was a thing of just like, I don't wanna mess up in front of people, but now it's like I'm not really afraid of, stuttering, messing up. Everybody messes up. So it was a big growth thing for me, especially like in a speaking standpoint. It's not to say I was bad at speaking before, but like now I'm more fluent with how I talk. It's I can incorporate all the vocabulary that I've learned over the years. It makes me feel like I'm intellectual, being able to just talk to people and not struggle to speak.
Did you ever feel like you were being silenced before?
Yeah, to a degree, especially during like primary school, high school. Like it felt like every time I talk, it would be like, ah, nah, don't him. No, no, no. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So for to see myself go from that to where I am now in a sense of like in even like a basketball team settings, when I speak, people want to listen. it's like, okay, so this was in me the whole time. I just needed to unlock it.
Do you think there's a lot of people that feel silenced now?
Yeah. Yeah. I think especially in this generation where it's just like if 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 you don't show any confidence, like people are gonna look down upon you, man. Like if you don't show some type of like grit or resilience, like someone is waiting for that day. Someone is waiting to find you and then just pray for no reason. Like that's just how people are in this world. They'll just do it just to do it.
What would you say to the kid that feels silenced at the moment?
Mm, honestly, if it was me talking to myself who was being silenced before, was just if you're happy with yourself, there's no reason for you to be listening to what anyone else thinks. Because I'm personally right now, I'm happy with myself. It's not the best situation I'm in, but I'm happy with where I'm at and I'm happy with who I am. So when somebody comes and challenges me on and off the court, like I just look at them, I'm like, you don't even know who I am for real. So your words don't do anything to me.
How can they find that confidence in themselves?
Mistakes, mistakes. Make mistakes, learn from them. Because part of the reason why we're so insecure about ourselves is because we're scared to make mistakes. We're scared to be laughed at. Get laughed at, stand up. Nobody can laugh for that long. Nobody can cry for that long. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
just it's getting through that. Like just get through that. You know? If you ever saw me in high school or primary school, like everybody used to make fun of me because I was dark. I was dark skinned. I was way darker. And now the funny thing is, now when I'm older now, people are telling me, oh, now we love dark skins. I'm just like, it made me think, I'm like, so back then niggas were clowning at me, but I was just like the whole time, my skin was actually a blessing, not a curse.
Yeah. It's it's kind of painful, man, because it's kind of painful how depending on the place that you're in can depict the worth of what you have. You can either be really talented in one field, but if you're in the wrong room, it looks like a weakness. You know, I used to always think about the people that maybe in school that would care about their grades, but they're in like a different classroom that doesn't support that. They'd probably act less intelligent so they can be more suited to the group. What would you say to the person that feels like they're alone though? They feel as if they have something within them, like you did, because you said that you were in an environment where you probably had features that weren't supported, and then sooner or later found out that they were supported. But you didn't necessarily know that that was going to be the case. Do you think that can happen to everyone with what they feel unsupported for now?
Yeah, like it just goes back to a thing of like what I said before in terms of like just be happy with yourself. It's also just trying to find confidence with being alone, you know, because I've basically been alone for like the last 4 years being in Australia. So with that came trying to learn that sometimes just being alone is good. Like the worst thing about being an extrovert and is the fact that like if you're not with somebody you feel like, oh, the world's gonna end, you know? But then that side of being an introvert is just loving being alone, but then loving it too much that you don't want to be outside is the problem. So you gotta find like a sort of a balance in between. You get what I'm saying? Like being alone is good sometimes. Like you can't see everybody every day.
They say that, oh shoot, but my voice, bro.
You get
It's okay. They say that the answers that you're looking for are usually in the silence that you're avoiding, the conversations that you need to have,
mm.
the interactions that you need to have, especially with yourself. What type of conversation do you think someone needs to have with themselves? for them to make that sense of belief in themselves for what they can do?
Mm, just biggest thing for me, like I'll use my perspective as an example, was like just being appreciative of what you've got. Like my biggest issue, I think it's still an issue to this day, honestly. I don't know how to celebrate small wins. In terms of I do so much, I work so hard, and to me it feels like it's not enough. But some people will be like, "Oh, you're doing so much. Yeah, you're doing the coaching, you're refing, you're doing this DJ thing, you're also still playing, you find time to do gym. How do you still talk to people and you still find time to hang out and enjoy good times with your friends and so on and so on?" It was just like for me, just sometimes like when you're in your room alone, you just like tell yourself, damn, I'm really in Australia. I'm I'm pushing basketball overseas. I'm doing this and this and this, and it's like I'm actually doing this. I'm like I'm not I'm pretty good with life right now. Like I'm actually, it's just sometimes you just need that reminder. And another thing is sometimes you just like if things are really that bad, sometimes you just gotta cry about it, let it out, scream, shout, whatever you need to do when you're alone. Because sometimes you just don't want to. You don't want people to see that ugly side of you, and that's understandable. But sometimes you can't hold it all in. Whether you have to cry it out, scream it out, find some sort of an emotional outlet that you can do by yourself. For me, it was poetry for a bit. I was writing a lot of poetry for a good couple months, maybe close to a year. I haven't really been doing it as much. I don't really have time. I only really like to do it when I feel something deeply like deep in my
Mm,
emotions, because it
mm.
feels like whatever I write, like it feels deep rooted. So when I read it back, I can actually feel the emotion I felt when I wrote this.
What did basketball teach you about yourself?
You, uh, what did it teach
what's,
me?
what's so funny?
Because I was
Sorry,
about to,
it's
I was
just
about to give the most quickest answer, and I remembered, wait, no, that's not the point.
no. You can give any quirky answer. Like
Nah,
it's
nah,
so
nah, nah, nah.
fine.
Honestly, it taught me confidence. I feel like my confidence gets poured over in what is it called, when I'm off the court as well. I don't know if I forgot who said this. I think it was my mom. My mom said that you have an energy. She told me I have an energy around me, like a positive like energy that draws people in and so on and so on. And I never really thought about it like that. Like I never thought I had that type of energy. And I think it's probably come from basketball and just the fact that I've done so much. I've got myself disciplined to a point that like in Botswana, especially when I go back and I hoop, there's some see it as a really like a professional mindset. So when they look at me train or they look at me do whatever I do on the court, that they can just feel the confidence and the swagger and all that on the court. So I think for me, what basketball taught me was just like confidence, like really, really, really like confidence.
Was there ever a was there a specific game or a specific moment where you were playing and you were like, yeah, like this is me, or was it like a gradual progression?
I'd say it was a progression. I can't name a game where I was just like, oh no, I'm nice. Like it was probably a series of games where I was just like, okay, like I have a good game, an okay game, a good game, okay game. Like it was just a series of that was just telling me like slowly, like, okay, this is me. I'd say, but honestly, if I were to pick a game, I'd probably say it was last year. It was in this like league tournament thing for like 20K prize money. Every Saturdays it's called UBL. I played a game against one of the top teams and I had 24 that game, but like we're down numbers, so we're playing with like six people. 20, it's not like 24 is crazy stat line, but it was just like that 24 to me, like the way I was hooping, it was like, bro, you can't stop this guy. Like if I wasn't like running into two people and so on, I was basically just playing ISO against five people that game. And if it wasn't, if I was like a team setting where I was able to get easier shots and so on, I would have had way more. But that game did right there, like just being able to take it like a whole team by
Yeah.
myself and just people have no answer, like you can't do anything. It just made me think, bro, I could be a killer.
That means you said that off before we started this recording that you've been playing basketball for about 8 years now. Are you saying it took until year 7 for you to believe in yourself in that way and to find that character in
Like
yourself?
I think it took me to about year 7 is when I started believing myself in a sort of a professional mindset, at an elite level. Like at the level that you'd see most professionals now, whether it's BAL, NBL, or what is it called, or NBA. Like that was the first time I got like a sort of a taste of like, okay, this is what it's like if I was to like this was my life. Like if I was just hooping every day, like this is what I'd look like if I'd hoop.
A lot of people think that success, especially in today's day and age, is quick. They think that if I just work for 3 to 6 months, that I'll get what I get. But man, you worked for 7 years,
Yeah.
and it's 7 years that no one will see because they're only gonna look at you now and say, "Wow, how do I get like him?"
Yeah,
And
that's
they're not gonna they're not gonna see the fact that it took you 7 years of working, having moments of doubt, having seasons of pain, still showing up to actually believe in yourself.
yeah.
And I love the line, "I work so hard that they call it luck."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, whenever someone would say, I remember when I was in school, someone would say, "Oh, he's so smart," and you know what? I used to, I used to always hate when someone would say, "Oh, he's so smart," because it would diminish all the
All the
hours that
hard
you
work.
don't see
Yeah.
that like in my book, in my textbook, grinding, pushing, giving hours at a time. And I remember I'd get like high grades or whatever, and it'd be like, "Oh yeah, but you're just smart." And then I look at it now, and I say when someone says, "Oh, you're just smart," I say thank you, because that means that you're looking at my success as something that cannot be achieved just through hard work. But people don't understand that it is hard work sometimes.
Yeah.
It is just the reps. It is just the relentless effort that you
Yeah.
just have to put in to get the result. Hey, me again. If you've been resonating with what we've been talking about so far, might as well just hit the bell down below. You'll get notified on every single upload that we make. We're here every Wednesday, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on the conversation. Alright, take care, and let's get back to the video. Did you ever feel like you had imposter syndrome? Like you didn't feel like you belonged to be there until year
Yeah.
7?
The first 2 years of being in Australia. No, the second 2 years. 2023 and 2024. That's when I played Division 1 Youth League for Northern Suburbs Bears and Manly Sea Eagles. Them two teams were the most toxic teams I've been a part of. And in terms of that's when I learned what basketball politics was, and I learned the hard way. The hard way. On both teams, I was on the end of the bench. I was essentially useless, looked at as useless to both teams, and like it was just a low point for me. More so the first year than the second year. That's when I really went through it. Like the first year, like me thinking, like going in with so much confidence in the trials and like really killing it in the trials, getting picked through like all stages, and then getting into games and they're like, oh nah, so you're gonna be a development player, you're not gonna play much and so on because your first year of youth league and so on. And I was like, okay, I was in my head, I was like, I was still confident. I was like, I'm probably just gonna like work my way through the ladder and then like earn the spot back. And for the most part, that didn't happen because like they had other guys coming from the States and so on, college guys. So my spot wasn't guaranteed, but I always stayed ready. Like this was a time when I was just in school and working and just basketball. So I was really like, this is when I was grinding my hardest. I was taking up about 500 shots a day, trying to develop my shot because by then I didn't have a shot. Like I didn't have a jump
Mm.
shot. So I was just purely slashing. So I developed my jump shot to the point where I was just knocked down. And going into the practices, I was killing. I was just killing, especially towards the middle of the season, towards the end. I was just killing. Like it was just crazy. I was just cooking in practice, but I never saw the court. The first game I did see the court, I went 100% from three. I finished with like 13 points. I played like what 12 minutes. I was just efficient. I was just efficient. And then I didn't touch the court. Like my minutes just fluctuated and it messed me up. And then when I did get another chance, I wasn't ready for that other chance. And then that's when they caught me out. I ended up leaving that team like early, like just before playoffs. They ended up losing in the playoffs. And then uh you best believe I was happy when they lost.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just the most like freaking like Michael like basketball player like ruthless thing I've ever heard. It's
Nah,
like they
I
made it
didn't.
to the
I was
playoffs
I
but they
was
still lost.
because just around that time, that's when it was around that time I got picked up to go and play ACBA. So that's when I first went to Malaysia. It was in 2023. Yeah, picked me up to go play Malaysia. I ended up playing against the Malaysian national team in front of a packed out stadium, bro. It was crazy, bro. That was probably like I've been a part of like big games in bots, but like there's just something that the atmosphere about being away in a huge stadium with like packed stadium, bro. Like if like I think maybe like 2,000 people filled. And every time they shoot the shot, bro, it's in the air, everybody's quiet. Once that thing goes in, everybody's just like, ah. That was demoralizing, let me tell you. Because you think you're doing good, you're hitting shots, the game is going well, y'all are winning, and then you just hear every time you do nothing, bro. It was a crazy experience, and that was the first time I really got exposed to what a professional is like, the efficiency, the consistency, the discipline, the ability to stay composed during like tough situations. Like we're killing the national team. They were down 15 by the fourth quarter and they won that game.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like
Wow.
like I just seeing them hit those shots like consistently, like contested as well. Like it was just like damn, like they're really about this.
Talk to me about the difference between um the biggest difference between an amateur and a professional in a basketball setting.
An amateur, the best way I can put it is an amateur would be someone who does some things like he does the essential things sometimes, and a professional does them all the time. You know what I mean? Like if you're if
Speak
let's
more.
let's let let's take it out of basketball for a bit. Let's say I think let me put in something we all relate to with school. If you study maths, right? Let's say three times a week, right? And I study it 4 to 5 times a week, right? And there's a test next week or in the next 2 weeks, right? By the time that test pulls up, right? Who would have the higher chance of passing?
The guy that did it 4 to 5 times a week.
4 to 5 times a week, right?
Yeah.
The more reps you do, like we said this before, the more reps you do, the more refined, the more refined and the more comfortable you are doing those movements, so to speak. Right? With basketball, with a professional, they do the same routine, the same movements every time, whatever it is that they specialize in. Right? And that's the next stage of basketball, like professionally, is just specializing. Like you see all these guys that are Like there's reason why they have all these tags and labels. Like in when you're playing 2K, like you're wondering why this build says inside out 3 and D specialist. Does he shoots threes and he does defense. That's it. So now when he
And that's what he's
trains,
chosen.
exactly. So now when he
Wow.
trains by himself, what does the team need? 3 and D. He's not gonna be training his. I mean, he'll do ball handling a little bit just to just to do it, but it's not his main focus. He'll probably use it as a warm up, but then the real he's gonna find different ways to become so lethal as a catch and shoot. Because that's what the team requires and that's what he does as a professional. So he will, for 4 to 5 times a week, he will be shooting at least 500 to 1,000 shots, different shots, and then find a way to work on his defense. I've heard stories of NBA players hiring a gym and hiring like paying people to play them one-on-one, and he just plays defense. That's how
Wow.
that's what's up exactly. Yeah, you've never heard about that one,
Wow.
eh?
Shoot.
There's
Yeah. No.
Peyton Pritchard plays for Boston Celtics. Once paid like I think I don't know, it was like 30 guys to play one-on-one, like just play defense. No, I'm like I think it was just one-on-one, like just straight. He's just playing one-on-one up until like 11 against everybody. Like next one-on-one beats them next, one-on-one beats them next, one-on-one beats them next. Like that's the off-season training. Like they just find so many ways to refine their skills to the point where it's like, that's why when people are doing like that's why when they hit these crazy shots in the game, everyone's like, "Oh my God, how do you do that?" And it's like, little do you know, he's taken like he might have taken like 200 or 300 of those shots in practice. So to him, that shot's not new. Yeah, it's not new. So it might seem like this. There's a reason why NBA players are so confident, bro. They do. It's like it's confidence from repetition. It's not confidence from like, oh nah, this shit is gonna go in. Like as much as people like to knock LaMelo Ball for the shots he takes, I don't knock it because I know I've watched him from high school. It's the same things he's been doing. Nothing has changed. He's been doing the same thing for the last 10 years. Nothing has changed. He just got stronger and he got fast. That's it. But no, he's been taking the same shots, been doing the same thing. So when I think professional, I'm just like someone who's just consistent. If you're consistently a slasher, you usually should make damn sure that you're just the best at slashing. Find ways to make sure you have a good left hand finish. Make sure you have a good right hand finish. Floaters, low pickup, high pickup, a spin move, bump spin move, fades, anything around the rim. Just you have to make sure that you got everything.
What's the one thing that no one what's the one thing you think most people get wrong about playing professionally?
They think it's like a happy life. Like in a sense of like they think when you go pro it's just like, oh, uh I get to practice in these great facilities, I get to drive the cars and so on and so on. You know, I feel like people miss like the hard parts about it in a sense of like there's so much more that comes with being a professional than just the money and the fame. It's like the expectation, the discipline, the requirements, and so on and so on. Like even just like every day is work as a professional. Like think about this. Like let's put it in the perspective of LeBron. LeBron is working every day. In terms of his image, he's working every day. People see him, he has to uphold his image. He has to look like LeBron. He has to, even though sometimes he may not feel like LeBron, he
He
has to
can
put
never
on
not
that.
be
Yeah,
LeBron
exactly. He
James.
can never not be
Wow.
LeBron. You
Can
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
It's a
now I'm
different
like,
it's a different level of sorry to cut you, but
no, go ahead.
it's a different level of pressure because
Yeah,
you expected to meet that bar every single day.
single
You're not
time.
expected to have an off day.
It's the same thing as I'll put in perspective for you or for you, right? Everyone in high school was like, no, Motheo was smart. Motheo doesn't fail. That day you just happen to get a 50%, niggas are like, huh?
Did I ever tell you? Yeah. Did I ever tell you about the day when I got the lowest in the year in physics?
I think I was there. I think I was there. I remember.
uh, I'll I'll tell the story just for I guess. When I was in high school, in my A levels, I was studying further mathematics because I wanted to study mechanical engineering abroad. So I was studying advanced maths by myself at home. And at the time, I had to do both exams. For those of you who don't know how A levels works, you do your first set of exams 1 year, second set of exams the next year. I had to do both my sets of exams within the same year because I was teaching myself. And it meant that for the time my mock exams came, my mock exams coincided with my final exams for my further maths for one of them for the first set. And for my physics exam, I got like freaking 40% or like 39% or something, just because I was like, there is no way in which I can pass everything. And after that, though, I knew that it wasn't me. It was more of a tactical failure because I knew that other people would see it like, oh, bro, how can you get 40%? I just told my teacher, I remember telling my teacher, I was like, don't worry, like, I got this. And I ended up getting an A-star in the end. But it was because you have to understand what things are worth putting down for you to be able to achieve what you know you can achieve later on down the line. And
Sacrifice.
yeah, making it didn't even feel like a sacrifice. When I remember seeing that 40%, I was like, yeah, I got the lowest in the year, but no one else is working or doing as much as I'm doing right now. Maybe there's one or two people that think that they're doing as much as they do right now,
Yeah.
but you can't think like that. Like, you have to think as if you're working the best at what you're good at, right?
Yeah. It just comes down to those moments. Like it's the expectation. The day Curry is just missing all his threes. Everyone's like, "What's wrong with Curry? Isn't he supposed to be the best shooter?" What? I'm just like, the guy can't
Exactly.
make everything, guys. You get what
But
I'm
they
saying?
but they wouldn't know that he's probably trying to work on something else. Do you know about this the Tiger Woods before he became the best player, best golf player in the world? So
What?
um so as he was still like young in his teens, I think he had won like a lot of like golf tournaments, I think a Grand Slam or something like that, whatever he had
Yeah.
won. And him and his coach were talking. They were like, Tiger, wow, you're doing so good. You're definitely going to be the best player in the world. This was like at basically as he was entering the height of his youth. And
Mm.
he was like, no, I need to change my swing. That's like you saying,
I'm
oh,
gonna
I
change
need
my jump
to,
shot.
yeah, I need to change my jump shot. I want to shoot with my left hand.
Eh, what the?
Yeah, yeah, basically. And he said, I know that what I'm doing now is taking me here, but for where I want to be, I need to make sure that my drive is different, so it can take me even further. So he spent 1 year or like 18 months and practicing his swinging games, practicing his swinging games, practicing his swinging games, and he didn't win any tournaments. Went on a dry spell for months until he found it.
And then he just won and won and won
And
and won.
years later, he's the best golf player to ever be
Yeah.
known.
That's just the lesson. If you're great, don't don't be afraid of change. Because sometimes change might elevate you more than you think. You know. Uh another thing is probably my last thing before we have to end because I need to leave soon. Um this is from my dad as well, is don't be narrow-minded. That's something my dad used to tell me all the time as a child. Because I used to, what he means by don't be narrow-minded is, if you're in a corridor, what can you see?
You just you see the end of the hallway.
You
Just
can only see one thing, the
yeah.
end of the hallway. But now
Yeah.
if you broaden your scope, you can see everything. So he used to say this because I used to eat like the same foods. I was picky and so on and so. So any,
Yeah.
I wear the
Yeah.
same clothes, want the same colors. It's like, stop being narrow-minded. Stop being narrow-minded. Now look at me now. I just eat everything. And he still complains.
Uh,
I he 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 would just keep saying you're narrow-minded, you're narrow-minded. And then now later in life, I'm realizing this guy was right. Because when you're narrow-minded, you can't see everything. It's the same thing as like when you're hooping, right? If you're narrow-minded and you can only think, I'm going to shoot the ball, I'm going to shoot the ball, it's not a bad thing. But I'm just like, what if there was a pass open? You wouldn't have seen. Why? Narrow-minded.
what would you say to the 13, 14-year-old now that feels like they're being silenced right now, but they feel like they can make a difference in what they do?
I would say like this. And I'd say this to every kid I ever coached, right? Nobody knows what you're capable of except you. Now it's up to you to find out what you're capable of. Right? You can't let someone else decide what you can do when you don't even know what you can do. So as you go through life, right? And this is me talking to 13 or 14-year-old me. Find out what you can do. And if you know what you can do, then nobody can tell you what you can do. Because only you know what you can do. I know it sounds like a tongue twister, but if you get it, you get it.
No, I love that. I love that, man. Honestly, that's so cool. Where should people go? That want to check you out, hit you up.
You can follow me on Instagram at Shay Semausu. Yeah, and I also have a DJ page for anyone that's interested. It's DJ _shade, spelled with a DE at the end, so Shay and then DE at the end. But for the most part, and TikTok, but I don't really be posting that much. But
That's okay.
if you ever happen to see me in the streets of Botswana, Gaborone, Botswana, around the ends, say hi,
I
what's
love
up?
this, man. I love this, man. Honestly, you've been so good. I wish we had more time, but
yeah. I think we can definitely do a part 2 though. I'm down for a part 2.
Yeah, hopefully one day in person.
Yeah.
As well. Thank you. And
all good.